Thank you. I didn't want to disappoint anyone, so I'm going to raise the northern border in the very beginning. Obviously, the law that was passed requires that you meet a June deadline for telling us what the threats are and how you're going to secure the northern border. Can you tell me whether you're on target to meet that June deadline?
We're always on target. I was just up in Seattle and met with the local law enforcement folks. I've been on the phone a number of times on Real ID with the governor up there, so we've got a little bit of relationship. But more importantly, I talked to my people that are responsible for that stretch from the Pacific inland for about 650 miles, something like that. They have, again, great relations with their counterparts on the other side of the border. The real strength is the databases.
So we can expect a report in June, which then we can react to in the next budgetary time period, correct?
Yes, Senator, yes.
Okay. I just want to remind you that 8 of the 15 senators actually represent the northern border, so we're going to be paying
my
close
attention, believe me.
Yeah, I didn't think it
border.
escaped your attention. And obviously, we would love to host you. Deeply concerned about personnel issues on the northern border and hope that whatever you are looking at in that study includes securing enough personnel to do the job and to meet the challenges. I want to talk a little bit about Central America. It's a topic that I know you're well familiar with, and it was one of, I think, the great opportunities that we had given your position in South Command, and given the fact that you have so many great relationships, we continue to be challenged by the Northern Triangle countries. The rate of murder and mayhem is unparalleled throughout the world, which is saying really something. We're looking at the Alliance for Progress as a way to kind of build that soft power, not just look at border security, but how can we, in fact, refugee in place. It's my understanding that you're convening a conference in Miami. One of the concerns that I have is who's going to all be at the table, because I think it's critically important that everyone be represented, whether it's NGOs, whether it's immigration groups, whether it's advocacy groups, that we all understand that we have a role in securing, providing some security for those Central American countries. Can you tell me what the plan is and what you hope to accomplish in the Miami conference?
Yes, Senator. First, I would tell you that I am close to the Central Americans. I've been, in the short period of time I've been in the job, I've been down to Guatemala. The president of Honduras was just up in my office. He's someone that I've worked closely with before. I'm going to Honduras soon. Been to Mexico since I've been in this job with, and met Mr. Tillerson there, Secretary Tillerson there. I've met all 3 from the northern tier countries, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. All 3 of their attorneys general came, and we had great discussions, again, friends. The Mexican, I go back to that, Mr. Villagray is in and out of Washington quite frequently. I plan another trip to Mexico. So that's where we are in terms of what we've been doing there. Now, when I briefed, when I had discussions with Mr. Trump when he was still Mr. Trump, I talked to him about the issue again of drug use in the United States, drug trafficking, what that does to these countries. But some of the things, and I'll take a little credit, not much, but a little credit for this. Some of the things when I was still on active duty at Southern Command, some of the things we helped the northern tier countries implement have driven down. Now, the death rates are still horrific.
So what do you hope to accomplish in Miami, and who's coming?
Both, there'll be 2-day conference. One day will be economic. We've got certainly that one of the real powers behind this is the Inter-American Development Bank. Yep. EU will be there, as my understanding, some European countries. Obviously, we will have, I'm hoping to have Secretary of Commerce, Secretary of Treasury, I'll be there. Our vice president's coming down. There will be businessmen and women. I believe all 3 of the Central American presidents and their teams will be there for this. I've got the Canadian, the Mexicans will co-host this.
Will you be reviewing the Alliance for Progress and whether that's been valuable and what changes we need to make as it relates to that commitment?
The Alliance for, as you know, the Alliance for
Prosperity, I'm sorry.
Prosperity, right.
Excuse me.
And I could go into it if you want, but I would just say that I had a lot to do with organizing that with the three countries. They've put their own money against it. We, you, the Congress has put money against it. The real thrust of this event in Miami in June, mid-June, I think, will be outside investment as opposed to U.S.
Right.
investment, although outside private investment. So that's what we are trying to accomplish. That's what we will accomplish.
Yeah, I think there's tons of folks who want to help out in the NGO community especially, and I think that it takes me to the kind of next topic, which is why people are leaving Central America. And, you know, I would say there's been a lot of confusion back and forth on what's going to happen to women coming to the border with children from Central American countries. Just a quick yes or no. There's been reports that you are considering separating children from their mothers at the border, and I want to know yes or no whether that's true.
Can I give you more than a yes or no?
You can, just a little bit.
Okay, only if the situation at that point in time requires it. You know, the mother, if the mother is sick or addicted to drugs or whatever, in the same way we would do it here in the United States if we.
Yeah, so if you thought the child was
routinely,
endangered,
sure.
that's
Right.
the only circumstance to which you would separate.
Can't imagine doing it otherwise.
Yeah, I just want to, I know a lot of people think that that might provide a deterrent, and we have a number of people within the Heartland Alliance program, and I'd ask that this letter, and I know you get a lot of correspondence obviously sent to you March 8th, but it's some comments from women who ask that this be put in the record. You know, and I just want to read a couple of them because I think it's really important to understand what's driving people north. My faith was in God when I made the decision to leave. I had never heard of asylum. All I knew was that the United States was a place where people could be protected and safe. I came to the United States. I didn't think about the policies. I was just considering that the United States is the thing that could protect us from violence where we were living. I think you know almost better than anyone else who serves in this administration how horrific the conditions are. And I appreciate your answer. And no one could disagree that if a child is in danger and you believe that there should be separation and that would be a rare circumstance. Is that correct, General Kelly?
That is, yes.
Thank you, Secretary.
That's a yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.